So this is part 2 of Get Over Money Matters from the borrower's perspective. In the last episode, we talked about how to get over money matters from the lender's perspective. If you missed part 1 on the lender's perspective, I'll put a link below for you to go back and see what our user's manual had to say about that. In today's episode, I'll be discussing some do's and don'ts of borrowing money according to the instructions our manufacturer has left for us so we can stay in good standing with those we borrow money from and get back to having the healthier relationships that we deserve. Now, you may be thinking of that person right now that's borrowed money from you and never paid it back. But before you go raising your tail feathers, I'm sure that at some point we've all been in both positions. So don't dismiss either episode. Hi, welcome to You Can Talk. I'm Ruth Finney, and this is a channel solely dedicated to helping you talk your way to healthier relationships. Whether you're married or dating, or if you're struggling to communicate with family or friends or people you work with, then this is the channel that will help you experience some real change. If you're willing to put some simple principles into practice, become a part of the Talk community by subscribing to You Can Talk and meet me here on Tuesdays for Talk Tips and Thursdays for Talk Lessons. And now you can also join me for Saturday night Talk to Ruth live sessions from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come walk with me through the user's manual as we discover some revelations in communication that you can incorporate into your life so that you can talk your way to healthier relationships. The majority of the time, relationships go sour behind money matters due to basic things that we could avoid through clear communication on behalf of the lender and the borrower. However, since we're talking to the borrower today, we're going to go over some do's and don'ts that will clear up any misconceptions and make the act of borrowing money less tumultuous. The first don't we'll look at is feeling entitled to other people's money. Often because we have family or friends or just know somebody that may have a few coins or maybe even a lot of coins more than us. It's easy to think that not only can they afford to, but they actually should break us off a little of that excess they're just storing up for a rainy day. I mean, after all, they probably won't even miss it. So why not help us out? We can get so wrapped up in what others have or the things that they're doing or the life that they're living that if we're not careful, it will actually stir up envy and jealousy and even resentment and anger within us. We can easily begin to feel entitled to what they have, creating a false sense of expectation in our minds that not only should we ask, but they willingly should just give because they have too much anyway. And maybe they need to learn how to share with others. Now, while that idea might seem logical, it's not factual, nor is it the mind state the manufacturer wants us to have. Let's take a look at what our user's manual has to say about desiring the things of others. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 17, our user's manual says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's." So what should we do when we're in a financial pinch or find ourselves in a place of need or simply want something that we don't have? Now, we could go beg, borrow, and maybe even steal if that's what we do, but those things have a high potential of damaging the relationships that we tend to truly care about. And we're trying to move past those stages in our lives and heal some of our broken relationships. So first, we do want to make sure that we're asking for money because we truly have a financial need and not just a want. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean that we spend our money on the things that we desire, but opt out of taking care of our financial responsibility. So now we're in need of some help to pay our bills. That's not what I mean by a true need. That's taking advantage of others and keeping barriers raised from those relationships we're trying to mend. If we've lost our job, got sick and incurred some extreme medical bills, or had some type of crisis occur that we didn't expect that put us in a financial strain, then it's appropriate to ask for some help, not when we just want a new toy or to pamper ourselves. There is a season for everything, and we have to acknowledge and accept the season we're in. Our season of financial freedom will come when we are diligent in honoring our financial responsibilities. The second don't we'll want to pay attention to is not putting ourselves in positions where we're dependent upon others' generosity. My aunt used to always say, people don't have to do nice things for you. People do nice things because they want to. It's not a requirement. So don't put yourself in that position. According to our user's manual, Proverbs chapter 22 and 7 states, "The rich will rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender." And we don't want to put ourselves in a position to have to be a slave to anyone, dependent upon their kindness and grace or mercy, nor do we want to be dependent upon someone else giving us money. What we do want is to evaluate some of our choices and be honest about the realities of the decisions that we made that put us in a position of need in the first place. We have to learn to be responsible with what we've already have and take care of our needs before our wants. And that goes against what the world teaches because we live in a have it your way and have it now society. We don't like to wait. However, what we fail to realize is that the more responsible we are with the little we've been entrusted with, the more the manufacturer will bless us with. And that happens on his timing, not ours. However, we can speed up the process by doing our part. In our user's manual, Luke 16:10-13 says, "One who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much. If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous wealth, who will entrust you with true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another's, who will give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." The third don't we want to avoid is lying about our true intentions. If we're borrowing, meaning we have every intention to pay it back. And if we're asking for a financial gift and we know we can't pay it back, then that needs to be said. "Thank you for this gift, and though I'm not in a position to pay it back, I will always remember your kindness to me in my time of need." That way, no ill will or inappropriate assumptions will be put on either person. When we say something happened that truly didn't, or say we're going to do something to the tune of, "Well, I'll pay you back as soon as this X, Y, or Z thing happens," or "I'll pay you back in increments over the next couple of months," and we don't do what we said, it damages the trust and integrity within the relationship. And it also hinders that person's willingness to give to us again when we find ourselves in need. So what should we do when we want to borrow money? The first thing is to fully inform the person about the situation. No half-truths or embellishments, and no lies or ill-intended behaviors. Ephesians chapter 4 and 25 in our user's manual says, "Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are all members of one another." And in Ecclesiastes 5 and 5, it says, "It's better for you to not vow than you should vow and not pay." Now that goes for the money we owe to God through tithing and the money we owe to those we have borrowed from. The fourth don't we'll want to avoid is ignoring our responsibilities. The quickest way to ruin a relationship is to ignore the fact that we made a commitment to pay back a financial obligation that we made with this person. When we don't pay back our financial commitments, we do not have the right to go asking for more and expect others to give when we find ourselves in a bind once again. What we do want to do is honor our responsibilities. Set up a payback plan that we know we can stick to, whether it's all at once or in increments. Whatever it is, stick to it and follow through with what has been agreed upon. It should never be our desire to be in a constant state of debt to others. But when we find ourselves in that position, we have to give back to the person what we owe. For when we honor our responsibilities to others, we're showing respect, integrity, appreciation, and ultimately love. In our user's manual, Romans chapter 13 verses 7-8 says, "Pay to all what is owed to them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, and honor to whom honor is owed. Owe no one anything except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law." The fifth and final don't we want to address is privacy. When we borrow money from others, it is not for anyone else to know outside of the people directly involved. We should not be going around telling everyone where they can go borrow money or what needs to be said about going how to get money out of the person. Nor should we go around taking pride and feeling like we're more significant than anyone else because someone did bless us with a financial gift. What we do want to do is keep it to ourselves because people give out of the kindness of their hearts. It should not be exploited in any way. I don't know anyone who wants their financial matters broadcasted amongst others. Keeping things private also keeps others out of our financial matters. It's simple. If you want others out of your business, don't involve them in it. The topic of money does not have to be a source of contention in our relationships. Money matters build barriers because we don't communicate in truth to ourselves or to others about our obligations, expectations, or our financial habits, good or bad. When we stop hiding behind these money matters and get real about where we are and what our true intentions are, when we find ourselves in a state of need and require some financial assistance, the enemy can no longer use money matters to keep us enslaved to the turmoil it can create within our relationships. When we're willing to get things right in our relationships by not feeling entitled, being upfront and honest, and following through with our word, we can knock down any financial barrier keeping us from the relationships that we desire. If you can relate to any or all of these communication struggles and are tired of the seemingly endless cycle of communication barriers that are keeping you from the relationships that you desire to have with others, then become a talker. Subscribe to You Can Talk. Select that notification bell down below and meet me here on Tuesdays for talk tips and Thursdays for talk lessons. And now you can join me on Talk to Ruth live sessions on Saturday nights from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for watching. If you would, please hit that like button. Leave a comment below and know that whatever you're committed to working on, I'm rooting for you and praying for you because you can tame the tongue, approach with compassion, listen deeply, knock down the barriers, and talk your way to healthier relationships. Let your communication be the light of God's love the world so desperately needs to hear.